Hello. Yes, we're live. Amazing. So excited for this one. We are going to wait 2 more minutes. But I wanted to make sure everything is working. And I may say just now directly that first of all, you need a ball for this practice and a tennis ball or similar. And to be close to a bed or a sofa. And a yoga mat and a journal if you want to actually write things down. And then you're more than welcome to write anything in the chat. Feel free to ask questions, share reflections, or anything you may wish. Yes, okay. So 1 more minute and then we will dive into fascia, our own fascia, hopefully. And I do hope that you feel a bit reflective, probably, is maybe what I'm looking for from yesterday's live that we had, day 1 on this 3-day challenge. And now it's time. So, welcome to day 2, all of you. I'm so happy that you're here. We are on Zoom, we are on YouTube, and I am going to try to navigate this. And today's topic is fascia and fascia journaling, which I feel is really, really exciting. And I just said here before we got started officially that I do hope that you have had some thinking, some thoughts, processing, or maybe just like unconscious processing of what we spoke about yesterday. And just remember that, again, this is a tool. And I, as you know, if you know me, I love to work with the fascia. I love to work holistically with the body, and there are so many amazing tools to explore out there. But again, if we don't have the mindset that can really get the leverage of those methods, they're not going to be worth as much. So really take your time and reflect upon, where are you? Do you believe you can heal? Can you take more, or how can you take more ownership of your own body and your healing journey? And this whole community is here to support you on this journey, because no one has the answers, like, except all of you, for each one of you. But sometimes we need mirroring and we need support in different questions that arises on the healing journey. So again, feel free to post questions or reflections in the chat. I am more than happy to answer everything, of course, and also share from my own journey, which is usually what I do when these events are happening. So, to get started, we need a tennis ball and a yoga mat, and preferably if you have a bed or couch close by. You don't need to have everything like within 1 square meter, but if you have it accessible, that's great. So that's what you need. And also, if you want to journal, like actually write things down, super, super happy if you have like a book, a notebook or something. Maybe avoid the phone or like a computer just for a change. I think many of us never almost use a pen anymore. And it's actually a really good process when you write things down with your hand. But you don't have to journal when you do fascia journaling, but you'll understand why it's called that in a bit. So when we do fascia journaling, one key thing is that we want to adjust how we work based on what our body is telling us. Amazing, right? Because now we get to practice what we were talking about yesterday. So we are going to really try to interpret what is the body communicating here? What sensations are arising? And how can I interpret what the next steps are? And I am going to coach you to support you in that process. So we can keep the ball just to one side, close by, and probably some of you may need like a pillow or a yoga block also for this first part. So let's come to the mat in a seated position. And I want you to take a yoga position of the pigeon. So pigeon, maybe you are familiar with half pigeon. I feel that's maybe more common than pigeon. Pigeon is when we have, let's start with the left leg. The left leg here will be parallel to the edge of the yoga mat. So it's like half a triangle here. And then what we want to do is to put the right, it's kind of where the wrist and outside of the heel is, on top of the other knee, and place it there. So now it is like a triangle in front of me. And for some of you sitting like this, you will start to roll back. The knees and legs will more look like this. And this is not a good positioning. And that's why I do recommend you to take a pillow, a yoga block, so that you can keep the same kind of posture as I have. And take as much support as you need to get up there, because otherwise this won't work. And then we are now here just going to observe where we can experience tension. And usually in this position, it's in the glutes. It may be somewhere in the thigh, it may be up toward the lower back. If you don't feel any tension in this position, what you can do is to start to fold over slowly. And as soon as you feel tension, you're like, okay. And we want to really, really recognize, where is the tension here? Where do I feel something is stopping me from moving forward, or from taking away the pillows to actually like sit like this? Where can I feel the limit, the tension, or the part of the fascia and the muscle that is kind of withdrawing from just folding over? So I want you to really identify where that is. And maybe you can even keep your hand on top of it, like, yeah, okay, it's here for me. And if you do start to fold, maybe you will see that the tension is more up here in the lower back, or here somewhere on the thigh. So you put your hand wherever you feel this tension, and then you grab your tennis ball, and you're gonna lie on top of the tennis ball wherever you found this tension. So first of all, if you want to note this down, you can. And it's fascinating to see where how tension starts to move around when you do this type of journaling. So you can just write down like full pigeon, tension in the middle of the glute, or like in the upper thigh or the lower back. So we're gonna take the tennis ball, and for me it was really like in the middle of the glute. So I'm gonna come down, and maybe now you want to keep pillows and stuff next to you because it may be a little too intense to just kind of lay flat on the ball. So you're gonna lift your hips and then slowly lower if it's the glute. If it's more toward the back, it's just the same thing. Keep sure it's on the right side that you are working. And if it would be more down, like under the sitting bone or upper thigh, you will do this in a seated position, like this. And then we're gonna stay in the position and breathe for about 3 minutes. So if you can, close your eyes, and if it's too intense, make sure that you're making it less intense. You want to be able to keep a full, nice, relaxed breath. So you just breathe here. So now we're exploring this type of fascia release where you are using pressure to melt stiffness or adhesions. So this is different from stretching. We are now creating a pressure toward these cells, the ligaments, the fascia, the nerves, the muscles, everything. The circulation will start to happen, and over time, this is why we need about 3 minutes. Over time, it will have like a melting effect on that tension. And the tension could potentially be also scar tissue and so on. And you could do this all over your body. Today, we're just going to do the glutes. So now I've been talking a lot. Just make sure you breathe deeply in a relaxed way, and support yourself with as many pillows as you need. Maybe you need one like in the lower back or on the opposite hip, or probably not on, like on top, rather under. So explore and make this practice work for you. Good. So if you haven't already, close your eyes. And let's take 5 more deep lateral breaths here. If you wish to place your hands on top of the rib cage and breathe into your hands, that's a great way to do a lateral breath. If you didn't know what that is, we want to expand the rib cage as it will increase the function in the pelvic floor. Good. So 2 more slow lateral breaths. And when you're done, slowly now, I want you to come off the ball. Just put it aside. And first of all, just close your eyes and see if you can sense any differences from left to right side. So for me, I'm just putting my own words on it, and this may not at all be your experience, but I feel more warm, more expansive, more circulation, lighter, yet more defined. Like the left side feels almost smaller or tighter in some way. So that was like a fascia release technique. Now we're just going to do 2 exercises on the bed or the sofa, whichever works for you. And we are going to be focusing on mobility for this one, which also is a very crucial part when it comes to releasing fascia. We want the muscles and fascia to start to work together. Because the fascia is not only wrapped around the muscles and inside of the muscles, they are also part of the ligaments connecting to the skeleton. And the skeleton itself is a type of fascia. So everything is connected, and now we want to add in some strength to be opening up this right side. So we're going to take the right leg and we're going to put it similarly to how we were in the pigeon pose on the floor when we just sat in the beginning. And I don't want to slip on my mat, so I'm just going to remove it a little bit. And then from here, we want to take a small step back with the left leg. So now if I let go of my hands, and if you don't feel safe letting go of your hands, please do not. You can keep your hands here. But I can really feel engagement from both my legs, and that's what we want. You can support with the hands, you're still gonna have engaged legs, which is wonderful. So from here, what I want you to do is to slowly lower the back leg so that this back knee is coming closer to the floor until maybe you can feel some kind of stretch on this right side. And then slowly you push up with both the back leg and you use this front leg to push yourself up. Good. So slow motions, you can exhale as you come down and then inhale as you come up. So you continue. We're going to do 10 if you can. If it's too much for you, then you stop and you take a break, and maybe fine is 5 is perfect for you. So just move slowly. And if you feel really uncomfortable, if any symptoms have increased by just being in this position, maybe you want to back off. So don't do this just because I tell you to, but do this because you are open and your body is open to actually explore this exercise without telling you, no, 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 don't do it. Okay, so once we've done 10, we're gonna fold over like this as far as we can and then come up. So let's just do 5 of these. So inhale, come up, and exhale, fold over. And feel the support from your legs. Maybe you can close your eyes, and maybe you're moving much slower than I am. When you talk too much, you tend to sometimes lose the connection with the breath. Okay, so last one for me here. And then slowly take your time and just kind of come out of this in some way. And you can start to just kind of move your hips a little bit, shake them in whatever way feels good. And now let's sit down again on the mat. And we're going to take this pigeon pose. So with the same leg, because now we just want to notice and maybe write down in our journal how we feel compared to when we did it the first time. So please prop yourself up if you need to, have a yoga block or a pillow or something. And then we come into this pigeon pose again. And for me, I feel a huge difference. Like it was much more like my knee, like on my right leg, just kind of dropped down all the way down. Usually I have a gap here if I just come to this position, but now it's like it just kind of fell right there. It's very easy for me to elongate my spine. And if I try to take a deep lateral breath, that is also easier. Because also what we've done now is we've been working kind of the middle of the back body, so it's going to affect the myofascial chains all the way down and all the way up. So even if we would have tested with other positions, not just this one, but also maybe a forward fold or something, we would probably see a significant change in that position too. So just because I felt what I just shared does not mean that was your experience. And it's not better to have a huge change or, this exercise is to get to know your body better. Start to notice, where is it tension? What types of sensations am I experiencing? Being curious about that. And then see, how can I, with a simple tool as a tennis ball, maybe work with that. So again, I don't have the right answers for how you should position yourself on top of the tennis ball. Only you will know how to work constructively. And if the bed was too hard to work on, or a sofa, if you use that, maybe you could try the floor with some pillows. So make sure this exercise works for you and for your body. And I can see a few chat messages. I am going to check the chat, but I want to finish off the other side first. So we are going to come into kind of the test again. So the left leg on top, and make sure these legs are parallel to each other. What's very common when you take pigeon pose is something like this, like some kind of half cross-legged version. If you can't sit on the floor, maybe I should have said this in the beginning, you could sit on a chair and just do this instead. So you have one foot on the floor and then the working leg on top. Okay, so here we are on this side, and once you've found your straight posture, like your elongated spine, I want you to start to notice, where do you feel tension now? And if you don't feel any, you start to lean forward. For me, it's almost exactly the same place as on the right side. And that may be the case for you, or it's a completely new place. Because when we have asymmetry in our posture, we are going to tense up different places. So it's very, very common for people to have. And I also have, like in many other positions, I would have not the same stiffness or stiffness in the same place. So I am going to take the ball and just come down, because I am going to keep it above the sitting bone. If you felt it more toward the thigh or somewhere here, you can sit up. That would be more fruitful for you to work here. So let's come down if you are more like toward the back side of the body, or even maybe up toward the lower back. And if you don't have pillows to support yourself with, you could also give like more of your weight into your feet. If it's too intense to really like fully let go over the ball. So again, we're going to stay for about 3 minutes. Just breathe those lateral breaths if it's available to you. Closing the eyes. You can breathe in and out through your nose. It's not a really like specific way to breathe when we work with fascia, except for relaxed breaths, calming breaths. We never ever want to hold our breaths because of maybe tension, or for some reason we're forcing ourselves or pushing ourselves in some direction. Just take a check in your face if you can relax your jaw, your forehead a little bit more. And again, if you find it helpful to do lateral breaths with your hands on your rib cage, please do put them there. And now let's take 5 more deep breaths. Good, one more. Last one here. See if you can let go of some more tension in your body on the exhale, really relaxing. And then slowly, when you are ready, you take the ball out so you can lift your hips if you're in the same position as me, and then come down. And again, just notice now how it feels where you had the ball. So many women with pelvic floor dysfunction has a clenched up butt or glutes all the time. So it's a great place to start to melt fascia and adhesions if you want to bring in more circulation into the whole pelvis. And this is really a great way to do it, as long as you're not like pushing or forcing yourself. So now let's come again to the bed, if that was possible for you. Otherwise, you can try it on the floor with some pillows. Just make it work your way. Left leg up on the bed now. Take a small step back with the back leg, and then slowly lowering until you can feel some kind of stretching sensation on the left side. And breathing. So really try to create like a synchronization with the breath and the movement if you can. Supporting yourself with your hands, even with your elbows would be possible if it's not something you can support with your wrists. And this is kind of tough, you know. It's not easy. So be gentle, and if you want to pause after 5 or 3, just do that. Take a break, and then you can come back for the other version if you want to try that. So once you've done 10, I want you now to do 5 of the forward folds. And the forward fold may be like this, so you don't have to come all the way down. You know, set your good girl aside, as we spoke about yesterday, and just bring in curiosity. And, you know, there's no wrong way to do this. And there's kind of no right either. It's just the purpose is to start to listen to your body, explore ways to move your body so that it can heal. That's the purpose. Good. So whenever you have done 5 of those, you can slowly, carefully, safely come down with the leg. And now let's again just like shake your booty out, shake your hips, shake your legs in whatever way feels good. And I'm kind of warm now. in my butt. I don't know how you feel. I'm excited to check the chat in just a few moments. So let's come to the pigeon pose again, just with the left leg on top. And for me, again, I can really feel like it's so much more open. It can kind of fall. Now I actually feel my stiffness has moved more toward the inside of the thigh. So if I would continue now, I could take the ball and place it here, like lay down and place it like this. And if it's not enough, like with the pressure, I feel it is for me. But if you ever find like now I need more pressure, you could always just like put a book underneath or a yoga block or something so that it can penetrate deeper. You can always find different positions to work your way deeper into the fascia and into the adhesions and scar tissue probably that many of us carry. As you know, and I talk about that in other videos, I'm not going to go into the scar tissue part. So well done. If you want to make a note again, like where did you first feel tension? How did you feel after when you released it? And did you feel tension in a new place after you released the tension on the first place? So that's a way to journal when you are exploring your fascia. And now I am going to dive into the comments. So let's open up the comment section. Yeah. There's no way I can do that half pigeon. What can I do instead? Yeah, I hope you got some options there. So I guess you mean on the bed or on the sofa. So yeah, I would advise to try to do it on the floor with pillows. I felt it a bit easier after the exercise and ball. I have never been flexible, and when we started pigeon pose, I couldn't get it, but bit better now. Okay, yeah, thank you. So you also felt some results from the exercise. What is the full pigeon pose? So the full pigeon pose is what we started in, the test we did in the beginning. I can show you. It looks like this. So that's the full pigeon. And again, I know I am flexible in that position, so it may look more like this for other people. And that's fine. You don't need to be able to do like that. That's the purpose of the exercise. We want to open up wherever we are. Okay. God, I am stiff. There is much tension in all my glutes. Where do I start? Would it be too much to cover the whole area? Yeah, I would be a little careful because we have the piriformis nerve, and we don't want to like strain that too much. I would try to identify if there is, like, you could do pigeon pose. You could also do the half pigeon pose to explore, or any other stretch for the glutes that you like. There are other yoga versions, so I don't know how familiar you are. But if you could identify somewhere where it is more tension compared to other areas, I would start just with that one spot, one time, and just let it see, and then see the day after how you feel and how the body responds, and then maybe take the next position the next day. So don't do the tennis ball like all over your butt at the same time. It's going to be too intense. And I mean, if it's hard to lay flat on the tennis ball, you could also do it in a sofa so that you are more propped up. You don't have the back flat. You could kind of lean towards pillows behind you, preferably not this way. But if you could support, like if you could put a couple of pillows so that you are more this way, and maybe it's easier then also with pillows for your legs to keep the tennis ball underneath your pelvis. Yeah, I can see some ladies had a hard time with these exercises. That's what I said. It's kind of advanced, but there are always versions. And it just depends what kind of limitations you are experiencing in your body, if you can do it or not. Okay, so let's continue with the chat. And now you are very welcome again. It's like an open Q&A, so you can share about, of course, the exercise and questions about that, but you could also share about your healing journey or any questions regarding healing. I found it exactly as you described, the glutes tight, but then on one side of my body afterwards, the inner thigh, but only on what is the tighter side anyway. But only on what is the tighter side anyway. I can't do the bed sofa, but I modified to do it on a thick yoga blanket on the mat and could still feel a good stretch. Amazing. I also modified to not use tennis ball, but a softer, larger, spiky ball. Yeah, like I guess like a fascia ball, which is of course a great option, as I knew tennis ball would be too much at the moment. Perfect, amazing. The reason actually I take a tennis ball is because many people have it. Not everyone, of course, is playing tennis, but it's more accessible than like a fascia ball for many. So I wanted to make it more accessible. And what you can do if you have a tennis ball, you could also take like not blankets, what's it called, towels, like a small towel, fold it a couple of times, and create a softer surface. So there are lots of ways to modify, and I'm so happy that you gave us a couple of examples here on how to modify this type of exercise. It doesn't matter, like, I know it's sometimes, yeah, so I really want to encourage everyone to try this, whatever version of it you find, and just see if you think it would be helpful. Because especially with the checking in before, like you could almost put yourself in any stretch and see where's the most tension. And then you take something, you put your body on top of that. Sometimes we use a folded blanket when we do something called block therapy at Moonrise or my YouTube channel. And that's also a great option. And for some, that's you feel too little then. So maybe then you want to shift to a tennis ball or something harder. So it's all about modification and adjusting based on your body and what it is communicating. Yeah, so that's it. I do not find any more questions or reflections in the chat at the moment. So I guess we are coming to an end of this. And I am really, really happy that you took the time to share this practice with me and explore. And even if you did not do all the exercises, just remember that it is an exploration. And sometimes you need time to actually figure out the actual exercise. And that's what it's like for many, especially women who have physical limitations or comorbidities, or in general are maybe stiff or have not moved their body, maybe because of the pelvic floor problems, which is very limiting in itself. So give yourself time, and I do hope that you find it useful to start to journal about what you experience in your body, because that will also be a tool for you and a way to start to deepen your understanding in how to listen to your body. So if we put the body first in different contexts, it is going to be easier to listen to the body in other contexts too. So yeah, thank you so much for showing up and for doing this work, and I hope to see you very soon again. Yeah, okay, now there's something in the chat here. I am discovering fascia release is so powerful and a wonderful way to release tension, and that add to my healing journey. That's wonderful. Yeah, and thank you. I see the thank yous in the chat. So I am really happy to have had this session with you. And tomorrow, Abby will do a session on hypopressives and posture, which will be amazing and probably quite different from these 2 days. So I hope that you are showing up for that, and take care in the